My son gave paid for the going over there as FEMA assistant. She was a nurse, nursing there. And I went with his wife, Janet, to San Francisco. And we drove to Salt Lake, and then we took the plane from Salt Lake. And
you remember when the first electricity came, too? First electric lights?
well, part of it, yeah, part of it.
And telephone?
Yeah, telephone, yes. My daughter worked for the telephone company for 46 years. My son worked. Oldest son, he worked. He worked out of, he started in Pocatello. He was a telegraphy man down here. Then they sent him to Pocatello, put him in the office there. And then he worked himself and got acquainted, I guess, with telephone men. And so he went to work because he could understand telegraphy work. They took him in the telephone office and they offered him more money than what he was making. So he worked there, and then from there he went to Butte. And he's been there ever since. That is, he's gone. I only got the daughter.
Is that right? You don't know what happened to your first husband, who was the father of your children, when he died, or if he ever became active in the church or anything like that.
He left me, and he married I was his first wife. He married a second one. He married a third one. And they all left. Two left.
It's kind of a sad story.
Yeah. Then he was a bachelor. Well, he lived up here at Roberts. He was a bachelor. Why, my daughter would say, Mal, Mother, can't we take this up to Dad? Can't we do this and can't we do that? So there you go. I took care of it. Helped take care of him. I was always willing to help whatever I could.
I can see that. That's wonderful.
Anywhere, anybody that when I lived here in the tent, the doctor asked me if I could go over and help a lady. She was to be confined, and they just moved in, and she didn't have this nor that. Well, we got things together, towels and whatnot, was confined. And he says, well, this ought to be thrown out. No, this ought to be done. Well, I says, I'll take and wash it and clean it up or like that. Oh, yes, that was left over there just about, let's see, well, just, it was this side where the temple is, where the, yeah. Oh.
You knew Dr. Klein.
Dr. Klein, yes. I used to go to him and ask him about this or the other. And he'd tell me what to do. I'd do it. Yes, I took care of Mrs. Peterson, lived in that little three-corner place right here, west of here.
Now, what Peterson would that be?
That's Alma Peterson.
Alma Peterson.
Yeah, he was a carpenter. And like that, I went over there and helped. She was confined. Seen him, the baby was, well, first he'd dip her in warm water, then in cold water, get her to come to. Well, we made it. He says, we'll make it. That was Dr. Fuller. I worked with him. Then I'd work with this doctor and work with the other doctor. I could go ahead and take care of a baby just the same as a midwife. There was a nurse, and I nursed in you remember the people's hospital.
No.
Well, I was night nurse.
One here on Idaho Avenue.
Yes. No, it wasn't on Idaho Avenue. Down here where the Restroom is now.
Oh.
What was
Where the Buck Funeral Home?
That was the funeral home, yes. That was the funeral home. And I worked there at nights. And there was a man, his wife was sick, awfully sick. And he says, oh, if I could just see her for a few minutes, just begged. If he could just see her for just a few minutes. It was getting toward the last. And so I said, now listen, I'll let you in, providing you don't make any noise. He says, I won't. His wife passed away. She didn't make it through the night. And so he thinks that man is still a living. When he sees me, he says, I can remember you from way, way back. That you, what I done. See, that's all. I tell you, I used to be awfully strong. There was a lady who was to be operated on one morning. Her name was Sowers. She says, you know, I'm just scared to death to go on the table. I said, listen, we'll just pray that you'll make it. I was strong in the church in faith. I told her, I said, we'll pray. And she made it through, went home, took care of him till he passed. That was Adam Sowers' brother. He lived in Louisville.
You've always been loyal and gone to church whenever you could yourself. I've seen you there.
I know it, and I like to go.
Have you worked in the Relief Society?
I worked in the Relief Society when my mother used to go and gather grain in the fall of the year. I worked with my mother. And of course, I've worked in the Relief Society here, all what I could, and like that. What I possibly could, when I could go, I'd go. And if I can't, I can't.
But you've always appreciated the church.
I've always appreciated the church, yes, before anything else.
Yes, you really have a testimony of its truthfulness.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes we kind of fall a wayside, but we still hang on to it. We know it's the truth, and God blesses us and watches over us every day and everything we do. I don't care what you say and what it is, God watches over us. If it wasn't for my Heavenly Father, I wouldn't be here. Why I've got to be here, I don't know.
Let's see, when will your next birthday be?
In April.
And then you'll be how old?
I'll be, 98.
That's something.
Are you acquainted with Sister Cutler that's over here from Shelley? That's 103, Dr. Cutler. She was a midwife in Shelley.
No, I know the Cutler, but it wasn't her.
She was to the temple yesterday, and she's 103, and she worked with her husband, Dr. Cutler, and she was a midwife.
Yeah, she was a midwife. I remember hearing of her, but and sometimes, we forget things. When we get to talking, it all comes back to you.
Right.
That's where it all comes back to you, and it's all history.
Yes, very important. And I think when we go to church regularly, things come back to us there.
Yeah.
We remember how precious and important the church is to us.
Yes.
That's why it's so good to keep going every Sunday and listening, and
Yeah.
strengthens your testimony.
Yeah. Well, some Sundays I can manage, and some Sundays I can't. Now, Montgomery's over here has been awfully good to me, taking me to church.
Yes.
She'll call up and she'll say, "Will you go?" Well, maybe I can make it, maybe I can't. And of course, she plays the piano. Some Sunday afternoons I can go, and sometimes I don't.
That's right.
So I go when I can, and when I can't, I have to. And I hope the Lord will forgive me.
I'm sure He understands.
That's all. No, I try to do my best. And I say, just the same way with Tiz, with the girl. She ain't got anything against the church. Only she can't quite see and understand why they let young people go through the temple, and then they go back to work and try to come to work drunker than a hoot-owl that they have to send them home. That's why she can't see why they do something about that. She can't quite see it, why they do those things.
I guess the explanation is that everyone has their free agency. They need to repent if they do things wrong after they've been to the temple. Some of them surely do things wrong afterwards.
But the temple is a great blessing, and most of them find strength and don't do those things. Most of them don't do those things.
Most of them do. But listen, she worked with the telephone company, and she would see those girls come in and read in the paper that they'd done this and done that. She'd come home and say, ask me and ask my sister, well, why don't they do something about it? Well, we couldn't answer the questions nor anything else. So there you are. And there was one girl, she thought she knew it all. Anything that went wrong in that office, she blamed that girl. And she knew that it wasn't right. She never done it, but she can prove it. She could do better, talk better than the other. So
I guess if everybody in the church did everything that the Lord asked them to do, I guess we'd soon have everybody in the world a member, because they could see how great the church really is. But we're all very human and have our weaknesses.
That's the reason I say she ain't got anything about the church. Not when the teachers come. They'll come in, sit and talk and like that very nicely. They ain't got anything. People that treat them right, treat them right. And she says, many a time when they asked donation from the telephone company was of taking a family, Christmas times and giving them this and giving them that. Why, she'd go and help them. And that a man sometimes would even be too lazy, that they would have to pack the things in. Yeah.
How many grandchildren do you have?
Me?
Yes.
I have 11 grandchildren.
Now, the names of your living children, what are their names?
Just Alice.
Alice.
Just Alice.
What's her last name?
Wilson.
Yes.
Alice Wilson. She never married. Well, she didn't get married. But he done her such a dirty deal, she divorced him. That's all. She got a dirty deal there.
So she never did remarry.
No, and
she had no children.
No, she had no children.
And then what about the other 2 living children? Do they have?
Oh, yes, they have children. They each got 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest boy's got 2 boys and a girl. And the second one's got 2 boys, and the other one's got 1.
Mm-hmm.
They all got children.
Now, who were your children besides Alice? What were the names of the others?
Jeff and Bill.
Jeff and Bill.
Yeah.
And who did Jeff marry?
He married a girl from Montana.
Remember her name?
Her name was Campbell.
Campbell.
Campbell. And Jeff and Sandy married a girl from Montana there. I don't know what her name was. And Gary's, I don't know what their names are. I don't.
You have great-grandchildren.
Yeah. I have great-grandchildren. Yes, I have great-grandchildren. I've got, let's see, that'd be 7 great-grandchildren. 7, yeah.
Do you have any great?
No, not yet. I don't know whether Bill's boy will get married or not. He works in the bookstore. You see, my son was the manager of the Garrett transfer.
Well, it's interesting to visit and kind of recollect things.
Well, that's...
What about, I'm just trying to think back, Sister Laird. You remember Bishop Laird, of course.
Do I? Well, I should say I do.
And his wife was president of the Relief Society of the state.
Yeah. Uh-huh, yeah.
And Henry Johnson.
Yeah.
He was bishop here in the First Ward.
Mrs. and Mr. Trainer.
Yes.
Yeah, I worked for him. Went over there and asked for a job at the hospital. And I worked there until they kicked me out there. So then I worked for the city for 14 years.
What did you do then?
At the city?
Uh-huh.
I was matron at the lavatory. I took care of the toilets and things like that. That was the public library. Oh, that is toilets and things and all that. And I would take care of the babies, and there was one lady who used to come in from, out to Mud Lake. And she'd bring in the baby. The lady that had it before had a homemade crib. There were, you know how they were made, the cribs. And she would bring in the blanket and put the baby in there, and I'd watch it, change it, take care of it till she'd come back, and she'd go and do her shopping. And others would come in and take care of their babies and leave them there, and like that. Oh, yes. I think that, what's his name, done wrong when he took it away from the old ladies that used to come in and wait there for their husbands, and when they got tired, they could come in and rest. And in the mornings, the young girls would come in and embroidery, make hem dish towels, and embroider dish towels to get married. Yes, I've seen all of that done. The lady that Mrs. Calvin had it, and she took a 2 weeks vacation. She asked me if I'd come after I got kicked out of over here. Why, she asked me if I'd come help her out. I said, sure. And she told me what I had to do and see that everything kept quiet. And no boys allowed in there or anything like that when the girls had come down and eat their lunch. I says, okay. Well, there was one day there was a couple of boys wanted to come in and eat lunch with the girls, and I said, no boys allowed in here. Why? Well, I said, that's orders. I said, if you don't believe it, I said, I call the cop. So there's where I was worked first. And they had all that, done all of that. And I know there was one lady, it was one morning, I don't know how it happened, but anyway, it was on a Monday morning. I went down there, I'd go down there and see, clean up the toilets, and do the things, see everything was okay. Somebody left their purse in there. And there was a lady in there, combing her hair, fixing up. So I said, is it yours? No. She said, mine. I got mine. So I took it, and I didn't even open it. Didn't know who it belonged to, but I wasn't going to have anything to do with it. Took it into the police station. He says, what's in it? I said, don't ask me. I said, that's for you to find out, not me. So anyway, there was a lady's address the chief forgot had there in their purse. And he says, why? He says, I know the lady. I said, all right. I said, I don't mind. I said, you can give it. So she called her, and he called her and told her the purse was in it. I don't know what she had in it, but anyway, she gave me, I think, a couple of dollars for returning the purse. Sure. So I done always, all my life, done what I could. Good to the other fellow, not to me. I would take a little end of the horn. That's all. That's all I ever did. I was taught that way.
Who are some of your friends that are nearly your age, or those that you have some that are about your age around the area?
Well, there's Elizabeth Felder is 80. She'll be getting along in the night.
I mean, the ones that are not now living.
No, the ones that are now living. Elizabeth Bell.
Yeah, Elizabeth Bell. And then there is Mrs. Nichols, Leona Nichols. I call her up. She is blind, and that is, she can't see. Her eyes are bad. So I call her up every other day or see how she is. She lives down in Basalt. And like that, well, I tell you, all my old friends are nearly gone. That's all. Oh, I call my nieces up. You know, Jake Stuckey's wife. Yeah. She is 12 years younger than I am. And she's worse off than I am.
Well, you're just wonderful, and your memory is so good, and you have so good a outlook, and willing to continue to work and help others.
I like to work if I wouldn't get tired.
You always have such a beautiful garden. You really still take care of it, a lot of it yourself, don't you?
No, I haven't taken it. Not for the last 3 years. I haven't taken care of it. You want some more rhubarb?
You want some more rhubarb, she said.
I sure like rhubarb, but maybe you can use it all.
No. That's the reason I'm asking. I go out and pull you some, or you can pull it yourself.
I can pull it myself.
See?
I would appreciate that.
So you can make rhubarb preserves.
Sister Gould, have you been to the temple yourself?
Yeah, I was sealed to the folks, my parents. I'm wearing the garments. I've done that since And you know, the Rudolph Lucille's beauty couple.
Oh, yeah.
They're both honest. Well, I guess he helps her. She can't walk. She can't go out. She's worse off than I am.
Well,
There's so many people. I won't complain myself because there's people are so much worse off than I am. I can't complain, nor I won't complain to anybody. And if I can help myself, that's all I can do. Like the girl said this morning, "Are you going to church?" And I said, "Yeah." Miss Montgomery asked me if I was going. I said, "Yes." Well, the girl says, "Now you be careful and not fall down." They're afraid if I fall. Well, I know that if I fall, I cannot get up. Or else I have to have something solid that I can pull myself up. That's all. So, I want to ask you a question. Now my boys they belong to other churches, but they don't belong to the Mormon Church. Now, can I get them baptized?
Now, they're all deceased now.
Oh,
That is,
yeah.
None of them are.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do temple work for them. Have it done.
That's all.
Yes, they can be baptized in the temple for the dead, and you could do.
What about their children?
You could have them endowments.
Yeah,
So,
but then another question: will that be satisfactory to their wives? Their wives are living.
I'm wondering if their wives are
Their wives is living.
Yeah, they don't need to have consent from them to have them baptized and to have them endowed.
Yeah.
That if they were to be sealed to someone, then that would be
no, that wouldn't. I was just asking about it.
Yeah.
See, I don't mind doing those things if it's possible to do it.
On your family group sheets, you could just bring them or have someone bring them to the temple, and we could do some of the work. We could do baptism. You could. Well, that's someone that's related.
I was just asking if.
See, you can have any work done for those that are your close, like your sons, your daughters, your husband, your parents. You can do that.
Do you have anyone in your family that could go through and do the work for them? Do you have any members that?
Well, not. What members? What do you mean?
I mean, do you have grandchildren, grandsons that could go through for them, or their own sons or anything like that?
Oh, no.
Close.
No, they don't
Belong.
They don't belong. That's the part of it.
Have you got your family group sheets and your book of remembrance? Have you got some records?
The records, well, now, let's see, I don't know where she's got them. She's got them, maybe they're in, I don't, she's got a lot of, that is, what do you call, genealogy on her side, but not on my side. See, that's the part of it. I don't know
Of course, you're on her side, too.
It's amazing.
Bye.